Graziers are facing major stock losses as hundreds of thousands of square kilometres go underwater. Mackenzie Colohan is in Longreach this morning and joins us. Mackenzie, what's the situation like where you are?
Good morning, Gemma. Well, I'm coming to you from the outskirts of Longreach. Where I'm standing is usually about 800 metres north of the Thomson River. But if you take a look behind me, the river has well and truly broken its banks and you can see how much water has come up overnight. Those buildings in the background, almost a kilometre away, the river is actually on the other side of those houses. And late yesterday afternoon, we were able to stand down on the banks of the river. So that gives you a bit of an idea of how much and how quickly this water has come up overnight. The local mayor, Tony Rayner, just stopped by and had a chat to us about half an hour ago. He said they are still expecting about a foot or two of water on top of this. The water level is still rising, but thankfully that won't be enough to threaten the town of Longreach itself.
And there are grave fears for a town in southwest Queensland. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there are Thargomindah, the little town of Thargomindah, population about 200. It's about 1,000 kilometres west of Brisbane in southwest Queensland. It is ground zero at the moment. Some residents there had to be evacuated yesterday after a levee that residents had built around the outskirts of town was breached. We had been waiting to get news out of Thargomindah this morning to see how residents feared it. And a short time ago, the ABC spoke to the acting CEO of the Baloo Shire Council, Tammy. She basically confirmed their worst fears. That levee has breached. The water came up overnight about half a metre on top of the 1974 record flood level, and there's about a foot of water that has gone through every home and business in town. She said that residents had to actually be evacuated from the evacuation centre. Most of them had spent the night in their cars at the airport, and they are now waiting, more than likely, to be evacuated by helicopter because this country is so flat. It's going to take almost 4 or 5 days for a lot of this water to subside.
Mackenzie, we've got more details about the stock losses.
We do. The Department of Primary Industries has put out some preliminary figures. We knew these numbers were going to be catastrophic. We've been hearing a lot about this being the worst natural disaster in the history of Western Queensland, and the numbers are pretty grim. They've said preliminary findings is that 105,000 head of livestock are either missing or deceased, 3,200 kilometres of fences and 4,000 kilometres of private roads have been damaged or washed away. The economic impact on primary producers in this region, with the lifeblood of Western Queensland, is going to be significant, and that is going to take a long time for people to recover from. Unfortunately as well, the worst news is that there is more rain on the way. There is rain and possibly even storms forecast for today and tomorrow. At this stage, they're saying the Bureau is at only about 20 to 25 millimetres over the next 2 days, which is not that much, but even that small amount of rain could have devastating consequences for some of these communities which are already underwater.